Hi, Lisa. Thanks for doing my case study interview about the impact of the coach training course that you've done on your work and your school. Can you tell me a bit about you and your school that you work in?
Yep, so I'm Lisa Griffiths. I am the deputy head, the pastoral deputy head at Stafford Grammar School. I'm also in charge of EDI, like equality, diversity, inclusion, and also the PSHE curriculum. I'm also the designated safeguarding lead as well. So we are an independent school of around 380 pupils.
Or what were the issues that you were seeing with the pupils that made you think you needed to know more or have more strategies to help them?
I suppose for me, there's kind of two things really. There's the journey that I was going on before finding you, and then also the situation in schools. So I've been the DSL for 3 years, and in that time had also had some coaching training that was really the aim was to work with adults using the strategies. So I'd found myself working with children as a DSL and providing intervention and support and using naturally a kind of coaching approach. But I was finding that it I'm somebody who likes to learn, and I felt like I was going with my gut rather than with the evidence. And also, I was finding that unlike with adults, where the conversation kind of came more naturally, a coaching approach can be quite daunting for young people. And so, what I was after was something that allowed us to sort of focus on a resource or some kind of framework. I felt like I was missing the kind of scaffolding. So then I was appointed deputy head in September of this year, and I knew I had an opportunity to really shake up all of the pastoral side of things. And I knew that that was the direction that I wanted to go in, and I wanted the whole school to kind of adopt a more coaching approach. So I started searching and then stumbled across you, and I thought, this is what I need.
Did you know when you started that you were going to then in September become you'd already been appointed as deputy head, but
Yeah, so I'd been appointed as deputy head, and myself and my colleague had spent a lot of time kind of looking for resources, and some of the resources that we'd stumbled upon were quite similar to the things that we then looked at on the course. But we found ourselves sort of lost in what's out there, and it felt like we needed a direction to go in. So yeah, I felt like I wanted to hit the ground running in September with an idea that was based in, evidence and positive psychology, which is what I would kind of been trained in myself a little bit beforehand. So all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle came together really.
On that note, on the resources, one of the kind of bugbears of mine, if you like, is there's a lot of resources floating around out there and free stuff I give out free stuff all the time, but without the coaching relationship to know how it works.
Yeah.
It's just another photocopied, when you photocopy it so many times and it goes all wonky and grey. That's how I imagine a lot of practitioners and teachers and pastoral staff are working with folders of old photocopied resources and not like a way of being to make that work.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think one of the things that I discovered when we started the course in the summer, doing it all in one go, it meant I could really sort of immerse myself in it and into my practice and thinking about how I was going to use the resources.
Yeah.
And the fact that you sort of practice on each other and then reflect on how it felt to use the resources, I was engaging in them in a way that I never would have done otherwise.
Yeah, that's a valuable point, because I think with a lot of like interventions for pupils, they're done to, not with. So that's where a coaching approach and that equality relationship of equality comes in, because you're facilitating the learning rather than here's a worksheet on anger. You're very angry. How do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think through the course, it allowed you to experience the challenges that you might then go on and experience when you're with young people. So I think a lot of teachers have the problem that I do, in that your instinct is to fix and to help. So even though I know that, you know, if you're going to adapt a coaching approach, that you hold that silence, and it's harder in practice. So thinking about that and exploring what that's about, and then finding ways to manage that and dealing with your own stuff, if you like, so that then the child can benefit. That, for me, that was a big takeaway, really.
Yeah, definitely, because it's that like taking off the teacher hat of the imparting of the knowledge and like facilitating the process for the young person to take ownership
Yeah.
themselves, which then reduces the dependency on you as a pastoral practitioner, doesn't it? Because otherwise
Yeah.
they just keep wanting you to fix it for them every time.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, in a school environment, teachers can feel quite anxious about supporting young people in case they're presented with a situation that they don't know about, or they don't have the expertise in. And that's the great thing about coaching, is that it's not that you need to be an expert in anything. It's actually, you know, you're holding that space for them to explore things, and then come up with the directions for themselves. And it's quite freeing, really, as a teacher, to go in and be like, well, I don't need to know the answer.